Huge turnabout in the second half. Another chance for Dublin today to redeem themselves under the managementship of Tommy Carr. Pat Spillane, that's the task.
I think really they're somewhere in between. We know exactly the way they'll play. They'll play simple, direct football. They'll play the ball into the two-man full forward line. You'd have to say Meath, but it's going to be a very tight and I think a very tough encounter with possibly a sending off or two.
Well, here come the Meath players. Please God, there won't be any sending offs in this game, but we are treated to a good, open, sporting game of football. And here's a man on which so much relies, just gone out of the picture. Two men indeed, there, Trevor Giles and Graham Geraghty. Colin O'Rourke, you're hopeful, you're nervous, but are you confident?
Yes, I'd be fairly confident. I was speaking to John McDermott this morning, and I suppose he's the big doubt in the Meath camp, in so much as he's not played a game really of any note for 6 months. He hasn't played a championship match for 12 months. He's missed all the training, broke his toe when he went to come back, and has missed the last 3 weeks. He would have to. Boylan
taking a big gamble here.
He is taking a big gamble. I suppose John McDermott is a bit like Maurice Fitzgerald for Kerry. If they left him until the last 10 minutes and brought him in, he would have a huge impact as a sub. But I was talking to John this morning, he's feeling so. I would expect that unless the referee clamps down fairly quick on this, you know, it's going to get fairly tough.
OK, well, Uachtaráin Mary McAleese being introduced to the players and meeting the Meath team at the moment as they go through a shot there.
She's a Meath supporter too, by the way.
Do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. Well, she lived down in Rathode for
I know
quite
that,
few years.
I'd say she's neutral today now, in fairness to the president.
She's probably entirely neutral in favour. Could know all the fellas very well individually, and I'd say that, you know, the first few exchanges, if he clamps down on things, maybe a couple of yellow cards, maybe everybody will just go out and play lovely open football. But you know, I've seen Leinster finals for the last 20 years, and they'd be skin and hair flying for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. OK, Pat Spillane, obviously Colin O'Rourke wants his own county to win this match. Who'd you go for? You said that Dublin would be the underdogs, but who'd you go for in the heat of the battle in Croke Park?
For our game. But at the end of the day, we know what Meath are like. Any day of the week, we know that they're thick, they're stubborn, they'll never say die spirit, they play a simple game plan, they won't lie down. You'll have to give it to Meath in a close encounter.
OK, Dessie Farrell in the background there introducing his players. Paul Curran just going through a shot. Of course, earlier we saw goalkeeper Davy Byrne from Ballymun Kickham's. Colin, how is this going to unfold? I mean, given the fact that, as I said, it looks like it's going to be a physical game, where do you see the key battle taking place in this?
Well, I think that the key battle is going to be Geraghty and Murphy up front for Dublin. Like, you know, you go back 2 years to the last Leinster final. Ollie Murphy destroyed Padder Andrews in that, and that was the winning and losing of the game on that particular occasion. You look at Martin Cahill playing cornerback against Offaly.
Earlier drops back to the reserves. The centre-back position has finally been given to Johnny McGee after a medical examination this morning. Kieran Whelan and Darren Holman maintained their midfield partnership. 2 games played so far in the championship, and the goal scorers for Dublin are Colin Moran, Wayne McCarthy and Ian Robertson. It's a nerve-wracking day for Tommy Carr. This is his 4th year in charge, his 3rd Leinster final, and of course he'll have nightmares over what happened last year when he lost to Kildare in that second half after giving an astonishing first half performance. Meath under Sean Boylan are today bidding for their 51st championship success and select the following 15 to start. With Paddy Reynolds suspended, Nigel Nestor is transferred to centre-back, with Hank Traynor moving to the wing. The big news, of course, is the selection of John McDermott at midfield for his first game since last November. Wearing number 8 is Nigel Crawford, while the attack is built around the creative and visionary skills of Trevor Giles and the goal-scoring prowess of Ollie Murphy. Is a former Roscommon minor footballer, now of course a Garda superintendent in Salt Hill, Michael Curley. This is his 2nd Leinster football final. A great buzz around headquarters. on Leinster football final day. Richie Keeling trying to initiate the very first Meath attack. Heather Andrews under a little bit of pressure. There's a clash between two players on the centre of the pitch, just inside the Dublin half. And referee Michael Curley is immediately calling for some medical attention. Dr. Noel McCaffrey is coming on the Dublin side. On the ground at the moment, it looks like it's Martin Cahill that possibly is the Dublin player. And Nigel Crawford is, I think, the other player there that's getting some medical attention. Let's just watch this again now. Yes, it is Martin Cahill, and it is, I think, Nigel Crawford, and a clash of heads. And both the players seem to be okay. Martin Cahill was in the wars as well in the game against Longford. Wore a very fancy head bandage for the second half, but Martin seems to be okay. So too Nigel Crawford. Desi Farrell spraying that ball over to the far side. Wayne McCarthy pumping it in towards Jason Sherlock. One-on-one situation with Cormac Murphy. Steps inside Murphy. Sherlock. Oh dear. What an amazing start. What a sensational miss by Sherlock, because Jason normally finishes very well. Got inside Murphy here so easy. And it was centimetres. And I mean centimetres at the wrong side of the post. Tommy Carr would have loved that sensational start and a green flag to be raised at Cormac Sullivan's goalposts. Darren Holman from Ballyboden St. Enda's. Ball seemed to take an unusual bounce, and John McDermott feeds Richie Keeling. Seems to lose his footing, picked up by Desi Farrell, who's playing a very deep role, almost as a third midfielder, and is orchestrating from that area at the moment. Here's Holman again, trying to send it over towards Wayne Sherlock. Sherlock and McCarthy are switching corners continuously and seem to be playing at the moment a two-man full forward line. Nigel Crawford giving it long. Paddy Christie gets his first touch, and more importantly, psychologically wins the first ball from Graham Geraghty, but Geraghty is putting him under pressure. And the referee gives the defender the benefit of the doubt, and that's a free out for Dublin.
Yes, I must say Dublin was settled very well, and it's noticeable that Desi Farrell is going in behind his midfield and acting as an extra midfielder. Heather Andrews has gone to centre half back, marking Trevor Giles, and Hank Traynor has gone to centre half back for Meath.
There's a boot there from Colin Moran. Referee spotted it, free to Meath. It's been a blistering start. Absolutely moving from one end to the other. Now there's a chance here for Meath, and an interception by Paul Curran. The pass from Geraghty was possibly optimistic as Keeley was coming through, but good play by Paul Curran. Martin Cahill in the thick of the action again. Paul Shanky giving it to Trevor Giles. Coleman Goggins is back there, taking care as expected to be marking Ollie Murphy. Great block down. Desi Farrell tussling with Hank Traynor. Linesman at the far side is Brian Crow. Dublin tried to get the ball moving as fast as possible into the forward line. Here's John McDermott. The Meath fans responding to his presence on this sacred ground here. Ollie Murphy thought about having a go, thinks about it again, sends this in towards Davy Byrne, who drops it. Geraghty gets a touch. And it's a goal for Meath. Davy Byrne perhaps blinded by the sunshine, but it's an awful start for the keeper who's been out through injury. And he's been in the headlines because he's taken the place of Stephen Cluxton, who performed very well, and immediately there'll be a major doubt for Davy Byrne. This ball dropped in, he should have really had it, and it's a very easy goal from a Meath perspective.
Yeah, it's a great opportunist goal there from Graham Geraghty, but to be fair to Davy Byrne, I think he may have been blinded by the sun that time, but Ollie Murphy's ball in was a very dangerous one also, very difficult to collect.
A chance here to respond. And Jason Sherlock just sends it to the wrong side of the post, and the second wide for Dublin.
Yes, indeed. Jason at this stage could have 2 goals actually to his name. Very unlucky with that one. Possibly the earlier one, he was at a bad angle.
This is another view of the goal. Ollie Murphy, as Martin Kearney pointed out, sent in a good ball here. Davy Byrne should have really controlled it, went out of his grasp, and Geraghty, more importantly, got the touch. Heather Andrews, who's operating at right half back despite the fact that he's wearing number 7. Paul Curran, again opening up that wing as much as possible, and a wonderful interception by Cormac Murphy. Uses Evan Kelly down towards Ollie Murphy. Martin Cahill is happy to send it out over the line with a fair shoulder charge from Donald Curtis. And that ball is well wide of the target. And that's Meath's first wide. But it gives us a chance to draw breath. Dublin should have had at least 1 goal from Jason Sherlock, but what a response by Meath.
Yeah, it's a great goal for Meath. I suppose it's the start Dublin needed more than Meath. But I'd say in fairness to both sides, they're really applying themselves in a very positive way. There's a great tempo to the game, and both sets of backs at the moment seem to be getting out in front of their forwards. That goal by Geraghty was more of the opportunist variety.
Great catch by Darren Homan. Again, they're aiming for that corner to try and use the diagonal ball and then open the space at this side. It's Richie Keeling. John McDermott has gone into a good position. Eddie Christie got a touch. Coleman Goggins needs to use his fullback. Dublin under pressure. There's a push by Colin Moran on Richie Keeley, so that's going to be a free for Meath. Trevor Giles dropping this one in. Comes out towards Donald Curtis. Good score. Scored a point against Kildare, and he maintains that consistent record with a fine point here. And just going out of shot there was Martin Cahill, who seems to be still suffering from that earlier head clash. Here's the point by Curtis, very well taken.
Yeah, it's a lovely piece of opportunism by Curtis in that case.
Donald Curtis has been part of the Meath setup now since 1996, when he made his debut against Carlow. It looks like Shane Ryan is being warmed up at the far side, as there's concern in the Dublin camp that Martin Cahill won't be able to continue. Shane Ryan was going to be the person that was going to come in if Johnny McGee failed that medical test this morning.
Yes, Martin Cahill actually seems to be feeling his neck, and I think he's still suffering from the effects of that earlier collision.
Darren Homan again, winning at least 3 balls in a row now at centre field. Good running. The challenge was a little bit late by Evan Kelly, and the referee deemed it to be a foul. So there's an opportunity here for Wayne McCarthy to get his first point in this year's Leinster football final. Plays his club football with Erin's Isle and Finglas on the north side of Dublin. So far, a goal and 4 points in 2 games. And that's his first in the Leinster final. There's confirmation that Shane Ryan is in fact going to participate in this Leinster final, and off the ball Darren Holman and Ian Robertson are involved in an off the ball tussle. The referee Michael Curley is now there, and behind Michael Curley's back there's a further exchange, and really this is totally unnecessary, but there's been a lot of tension in the air, and around the dressing room area you could feel that adrenaline in both dressing rooms, and it's still continuing on.
Yes, indeed. If Cormac Murphy isn't careful, he's going to be sent off here, because he has thrown a couple of shapes there on a number of occasions. He'd be better to walk away from things.
The two linesmen, Brian Crowe from Cavan and John Geeney from Cork, will, I'm sure, inform Michael Curley, if necessary, on what's happening behind his back. The referee Michael Curley is informing Ian Robertson and Darren Fay that there'll be no more of this sort of off-the-ball business tolerated. This is the goings-on, as you can see, between the two of them, more pushing and shoving than anything else. And this is more of it with Cormac Murphy getting involved, and the referee arriving on the scene to initiate peaceful negotiations. A kick out by Cormac O'Sullivan. From Senan Connell went astray. Trevor Giles with Heather Andrews marking him at the moment, cutting it inside towards Paul Shanky from Kilmainham Wood. Hits it powerfully, but it's not going to go over Davy Byrne's crossbar. That substitution, just to confirm, did take place. Shane Ryan is on at right corner back for Martin Cahill. Well, we've had everything in the first 12 and a half minutes. We've had two goal-scoring opportunities, a goal for Meath and a bit of a schmozzle as well, thrown into the cocktail. Here's Evan Kelly. Great point. Very well taken score, and I remember him from the 1995 Leinster football final when he scored a great goal. Evan Kelly, one of the most underrated workers in this side, an accomplished star at this stage in the county of Meath.
Yes, and he started very positively actually, and Jonathan McGee, who's marking him, may not be that comfortable at playing at left half back at the moment.
The kick out, surprisingly, is aimed at Evan Kelly. Off the ball, there was more pushing and shoving, and Michael Curley, the referee, has given a free to Dublin. Aimed at Ian Robertson. Darren Fay and himself continue to exchange greetings and pulling of jerseys, and this time referee Michael Curley has noted their names. He's not shown a yellow card, but he has decided after that initial warning that he's not going to tolerate any more.
Yes, that was a sensible decision there by Michael Curley. There was no real malice in what happened there. Maybe it's as well to put them on warning.
The breaking ball. Jason Shirley. The high punch is from Cormac Murphy. And the referee this time will have no hesitation in speaking to the left corner back from the St. Patrick's Club in Stamullen. Cormac Murphy, who was involved in that earlier entanglement between the Dublin and Meath players, a lot of off the ball. This time it was quite blatant. And referee Michael Curley, I'm sure, will display a yellow card here now. He's got to take stern action. First yellow of the Leinster final is credited to Cormac Murphy.
Yeah, well, I think Cormac Murphy can't have any complaints about that. Indeed, he's possibly lucky not to have been given a red card, because the use of the boot, you know, is a very, very dangerous foul. But it might allow him to settle down and start playing, because he was getting a little bit excited earlier, just before that incident.
Wayne McCarthy's kick is just inside the Meath 45-metre line. That's the angle. Hits it well, comes back off the post. Dublin have it. Robertson trying to get inside. Darren Fay gives it back outside. Good defending by Hank Traynor. But Dublin regained possession, more importantly. Difficult angle, difficult shot, and the ball has gone wide, but it doesn't matter because the referee deemed that the Dublin player was over-carrying. Free added to by Trevor Giles. Donald Curtis. Darren Homan, who's working very hard. Here's Shane Ryan now, getting involved. Down towards Wayne McCarthy. Referee claimed that the Meath defender Mark O'Reilly was fouling Wayne McCarthy, so it's going to be a free for Dublin. Darren Homan pumps it in long. Darren Fay can't control it. Cormac Murphy is helping pull back out, but Ian Robertson was blatantly pulling the left corner back's jersey, and Jason Sherlock is correctly telling the big full forward to get away from it. And the referee now, I think, has no option but to possibly show a yellow card to Ian Robertson. The referee displays the yellow card for the second time. Dublin doing well in the midfield area. Johnny McGee putting this one in towards Jason Sherlock. Josie Farrell was available. Now comes the ball into the space. Robertson and Darren Fay. Fay knocks it down. Wayne McCarthy's effort is blocked once again. Paul Shanky is there. So too is Mark O'Reilly. A little bit of uneasiness in the Meath full back line, but they escape this time. Trevor Giles. Paddy Christie meets him with a firm shoulder. Still Christie under pressure from Graham Geraghty, and Paddy Christie was over-carrying, and the free is to Meath. In the process, Graham Geraghty, I think, got an accidental knock. The ball is pumped down. Not control the first time. Heather Andrews, Paul Curran. Available once again is Darren Homan, who is establishing his superiority at midfield in the early stages. Homan again. He needs a little bit of support now. Flicks it outside. Pass goes astray. Back there is big Nigel Crawford from St. Peter's Club Dunboyne. Evan Kelly. The sides on the long ball up towards Trevor Giles. Heather Andrews with him. The quick cross ball, not quite gathered by Coleman Goggins, but Dublin have the situation again under control. Darren Homan gets there despite the attentions of Geraghty. Slennon Connell. Back to Homan. Playing it in long, not really suitable to the Dublin full forward line, and Darren Fay, as expected, wins the tussle. Mark O'Reilly available as centre-half back Nigel Nestor. He played so well at midfield in the last game. Evan Kelly doing a Trojan amount of work around midfield and half-back line. Trevor Giles with Heather Andrews. Giles gets away from his marker and sends it over the bar. Trevor Giles with his first point in the Leinster final. Down at the far end, this was the incident again. A wonderful block down by Darren Fay.
Yes, it must be said that the effort and the passion from both sides is immense, but I think there's just a little bit more calmness on the part of Meath when they get the ball in the forward line. Giles and Evan Kelly in particular are humming at the moment.
And it's Evan Kelly again. This time, it's a crossfield ball over towards Donald Curtis. Pumping it in low towards Ollie Murphy. Coleman Goggins watching the left boot and did sufficiently well enough to put him under pressure to make the error.
Yes, I just go back to that situation in the Dublin defence where they're putting at the moment Peadar Andrews in the centre and Johnny McGee in the left wing on Evan Kelly. I'm not sure it's suiting both of them. I think if they went and reverted to their original positions, it might be more to their benefit.
Interesting choice as well, Martin, of Peadar Andrews marking Trevor Giles.
Yeah, very much so.
Johnny McGee. That's a far better ball. This is the sort of tactical game plan that Dublin were hoping for. In front of the forwards, Jason Sherlock, Cormac Sullivan. Good goalkeeping. Out towards Nigel Crawford, who's fouled. Takes it quickly to his midfield colleague, John McDermott. Shane Ryan is there for Dublin. Dublin initiate matters again in their own half-back line. This is Colin Moran, who wants the players to run into space. And chasing after this is Senan Connell. With him is Paul Shanky. Wayne McCarthy is outside. Doesn't take that option. It's the captain, Desi Farrell. Tries to get it onto that left boot. Wins it back. And for the swipe by a Meath defender, I think it was Hank Traynor, deemed to be dangerous. The referee has given a free to Dublin.
It must be said that the Dublin attack are having to work very, very, very hard to get any shot on goal at the moment. The Meath defence is playing very well and backing one another up, and they're swarming over any Meath or any Dublin forward who gets possession of the ball.
It actually works best, I feel, Martin, when Dublin crowd the midfield and then pump the ball diagonally into the corners.
Yes, they're trying that actually consistently at the moment, but the Meath defence is still holding firm. And it must be said one other thing: there seems to be a reasonable breeze supporting Meath or behind Meath in this half.
This is Colin Moran. Came from the minor team of 3 years ago. And went on to win, of course, the Young Player of the Year last year. And that's Colin Moran's first point in this Leinster final. And Dublin doing very well in the centre of the pitch with Darren Holman. This was not a very good one, but Colin Moran sweeps up. And Moran and Desi Farrell are playing quite a deep role. Colin Moran is doing it in a moment. Desi Farrell has now gone in towards the full forward. He wants the ball in quick from Wayne McCarthy. This is Desi Farrell. Gives it in his shoulder at the right time to Cormac Murphy. Difficult angle for Desi. And it's over the bar. The centre half forward from the Na Fianna club in the north side of Dublin and leader of this Dublin side for the last 4 years. Wayne McCarthy saw that Farrell was orchestrating. He was actually telling him where to put it. And certainly Desi knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. Good score. Paul Shanky to Hank Traynor. He's wearing number 5, but playing at centre half back. Evan Kelly fouling Johnny McGee, and Johnny McGee totally unnecessarily gets involved with Evan Kelly and possibly will lose his free. A moment of silliness. And Evan Kelly now gets involved. And he too deserves the criticism because he'd won a free and there was no reason whatsoever to get involved with Dublin.
Yes, the game has got a little bit spiteful in the last 10 minutes or so, and you know, some of them are going to be lucky not to get sent off.
John McDermott, that'll do his confidence a world of good. Great catch. Testing ball for the Dublin defence. Colin Moore playing a very deep role, almost playing as a left half back. The push, which was blatant. That's why the Dublin fans are onto the referee. But it's Meath with the possession. Richie Keeling trying to get inside Paul Curran. And the Dunshaughlin clubman takes too many steps. And possibly justice is done. And a free to Dublin on this occasion.
Tactically at the moment, Colin Moran is going out behind his midfield, leaving a space inside for the 5 forwards, and they're just leaving Wayne McCarthy and Ian Robertson in the full forward line on their own at the moment.
Cormac Murphy. Paul Shanky. Desi Farrell comes in to challenge. The referee claims he was using both hands, so it's a free to Meath, taken by John McDermott. Well gathered again. Johnny McGee took his eye off it. Goes back towards Sennin-Connon. Coleman Goggins, Darren Holman. That's good play by Dublin. They're playing it very tight out in the wing. Desi Farrell. 2 Meath players, Hank Traynor and Evan Kelly, and Desi wins the free. Darren Holman from Ballyboden St Edmunds, pumping it in long, knocked down. Jason Sherlock can't control it. A little bit unfortunate, and Richie Keeley picks up the breaking ball. Nigel Crawford laying it off for Nigel Leinster. It's a sweet pass in towards Ollie Murphy. 2 Dublin defenders there, but he still managed to win possession. Out to Graham Garrity, hoping to add a point to his goal, and that is well wide. And the game, I feel at the moment, Martin, is just beginning to settle now.
Starting to settle now, okay, but one of the things that's surprising at the moment is that Kieran Whelan has had no impact whatsoever on the game. We expected a big game from him beforehand. We expected him to be a leader of the Dublin team, but Darren Holman is the one that is making all the impact for Dublin in the middle of the field.
Interestingly, in fact, as you mentioned, I don't think Kieran has actually touched the ball yet.
Not yet, Marty.
Evan Kelly. He's a big problem for Dublin. Beautiful skill, fooling Johnny McGee. Floating this one in, punched forward. Davy Byrne chases it. So too Graham Garrity. Sneaking it inside to Kelly. His 2nd point of the game. One of the players who really didn't come up through the underage ranks, but once he reached the senior standard, he certainly is now very much part of this Meath setup.
He's having a wonderful game. He's doing the hod carrying further out the field. He's going in and executing. He's got 2 scores so far, but he's the one Meath forward that seems to be on his game.
Surprisingly, actually, Dublin haven't made any tactical switch to try and stop Kelly dominating that wing, and there he is again, knocking it down, this time from Nigel Leinster. Perhaps Johnny McGee might be better in the centre and do a man-marking job on Trevor Giles. Shane Ryan. Plenty of space out this way. Desi Farrell is now making that run. Here is Kieran Whelan. Ian Robertson wanted it long. Didn't take that option. Great run by Whelan. Nigel Crawford chasing it. Back to Jason Sherlock. In a good position and over the ball. Jason Sherlock spends so much time practicing and taking shots at goals in Parnell Park, and one Dublin man, Jim Tunney, will be delighted with that sort of scoring from Jason Sherlock.
Yes, indeed, Dublin need more of that. They need more of that kind of bursting runs through the middle from Kieran Whelan, drawing defenders to him and then setting up the likes of Jay over that score.
Paul Curran. A run forward provided by Sennin-Connon. Richie Keeley brings him down. 3 to Dublin. And Richie Keeley is not posing as big a threat as Evan Kelly. Perhaps maybe a switch there would cut out that penetration out in the right wing.
Yes, the one player in the half-forward line in the Meath team is Evan Kelly. He's really buzzing at the moment. And the 2 inside guys, to be fair, are making great runs for Graham Garrity and Ollie Murphy. So far, Trevor Giles hasn't put a stamp on the game, but he's been very well marked, as we said, by Padder Andrews. Colin Moran.
successfully put over the crossbar. This is his second, almost the same position. Came on, of course, against Longford in the Leinster Championship quarter-final and scored a great goal, but this one is swinging to the left. That's Dublin's 4th wide of the first half. The kick out by Cormac O'Sullivan, straight down the middle. Waiting for it is Nigel Nestor and Evan Kelly, who's making the diagonal run for Ollie Murphy, but it's just a little bit too powerful, but it still stays in. It looked like it was going out over the sideline. Well done to Ollie Murphy. Now the linesman has raised his flag, and in fact it is going to be a Dublin ball.
Yes, and is it significant that Colin Moore is actually the one who made the tackle there? He's going back into the hole in front of the full forward line to try and cut off supply going through to Geraghty and Murphy.
Trevor Giles is fouled, so it's going to be a free for the Meath captain. John McDermott makes himself available rather easily. Comes back to Evan Kelly, but the ball was picked off the ground. That's going to be a free to Dublin. I just wonder though, Martin, if the tactic of playing Colin Moore is actually forsaking any penetration or any attacking creativity up front.
Possibly is robbing them of a little bit of support, certainly when the ball comes in, but the runs off the ball that have been made by Jason and by Senan Connell are very, very impressive, but the direction isn't particularly good with the delivery.
Here's a good example of it. There's a terrible ball, easily picked up by Trevor Giles. Cormac Murphy. Graham Geraghty battling with Paddy Christie. Free to Meath. The referee is going over and indicating where he wants the free to be taken. Dublin players, I think, are protesting. I don't agree with the decision, as you can see from Paddy Christie's actions. A chance here for me. Despite the whistles, that goes over the crossbar for Richie Keeley's first point. Meath now with a 4-point advantage. Darren Homan has gone down, and Michael Curley, the referee, did in fact spot it. John McDermott is telling him to get up and quit the acting performance. But the referee did see it. Paul Kern now is getting involved off the ball with Evan Kelly. And Mick Curley has called for Dr. Noel McCaffrey to once again come onto the pitch. And what caused that, I'm not too sure.
I didn't see what happened there, Marty, but just going back to some of the switches that are apparent at the moment, I think Hank Traynor has gone back into the cornerback position following Desi Farrell, who's gone into corner forward. And like, there's no format or shape really to the Dublin attack. They're interchanging at will throughout the half, which is maybe causing a lot of confusion in the Meath defence, but maybe some confusion also amongst themselves.
Darren Homan certainly seems to be in trouble here, and he has been most impressive. If Evan Kelly is getting the plaudits for the first half performance for Meath, Darren Homan has been the star for Dublin, and if he has to depart, it's going to be a terrible blow. Let's just watch this again. Over the referee's shoulder at the top of your screen, there is a tussle. It seems to be a tussle, and then Homan goes down. Well, whatever happened, Darren Homan is back, marking John McDermott as Davy Byrne takes the kick out. Colin Moore. Ball is put in front of Ian Robertson. It escapes all of them. Cormac Murphy is back there. looks it outside. And trainer, Mark O'Reilly. Nobody immediately available for Nigel Nestor to take the free. So it's going to be Darren Fay to take this. Johnny McGee. His pass well read and anticipated by Trevor Giles. Evan Kelly hits it sweetly over the bar. His third of the Leinster final. Wonderful play by Evan Kelly from Drumree. But surely now Dublin have to acknowledge that they have a problem at left half back, and Johnny McGee is certainly not doing it. And interestingly, as I speak and we watch this replay, and a fine score by Evan Kelly, Paul Kern has now been switched over to left half back.
Yes, that's not surprising. It should have been done a little earlier. But Kelly is snapping up any opportunity he gets at the moment. He looks very, very sharp in the Meath attack.
Here's Paul Kern now. Darren Homan. Wayne McCarthy makes close run, uses Senan Connell instead. Here's Wayne McCarthy now. Kieran Whelan. Fair shoulder off Cormac Murphy, and Murphy, to his credit, just bounces away. Lovely skill by Farrell. Jason wanted it quicker, but Farrell manages to sneak it inside the far over post, and that's his second point of the game. This is his 38th appearance for Dublin this afternoon. Scored a goal and 43 points in a wonderful career. That goal, of course, was against Leitrim in the All-Ireland semi-final against Leitrim. And now he gets his second point of the 2001 Leinster final. Well, it's been a most interesting first half in Croke Park. Evan Kelly, the star for Meath, undoubtedly with 3 points. Allied to Graham Geraghty's goal when Davy Byrne dropped the ball sent in by Ollie Murphy. It's a very interesting Leinster football final, full of buzz, full of talking points. And at half-time, it's Meath that are in control of affairs here in Croke Park. And certainly we look forward to a great second half. There's confirmation of the scoreline. Meath 1 goal and 6 points. Dublin 5 points. And Martin Carney, Meath or Dublin, who do you think will be most concerned at this moment, apart from, of course, the scoreline?
Well, Meath got the perfect start, the goal by Graham Geraghty in the 4th minute, and that has certainly given the platform for the lead they have at half-time. They're probably playing the better football up front, and certainly in Evan Kelly, they have the player of the match so far.
Well, let's go down to the sideline for some half-time reaction with our sideline reporter, Darren Maloney.
Thank you, Marty. Let's get the views of Charlie Redmond. What's the Dublin point of view in that first half?
Not good, certainly. A lot of questions to be asked. Dublin have the shackles on Geraghty, Giles, Murphy and McDermott, and yet we're still losing by 4 to 5 points. Our ball's gone to a full forward line on a half forward line, but we're not winning it. The tactic of playing Colin Morden in front of the full back line, I think, is disastrous, because Nigel Nestor is picking up so much ball in midfield. It's certainly not working for Dublin, and Tommy will have to readjust something somewhere.
Charlie, thanks for your time. Jerry McEntee, former Meath great. How do you see that first half? Happy enough?
Well, Meath looks sharper, but there's still only 4 points in it. So I'd say there's still a lot to play for. I agree with Charlie. I don't really understand why Colin Moran is taking frees from his own 50-yard line, kicking them up to where he should be himself, trying to win it. Having said that, there's only 4 points in it. I don't know. It's still tight.
Certainly is. We shall see. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. 4-point advantage at half-time. Is it a bad tactical plan to have Colin Moran in the Dublin half-back line? Can Meath win their 20th title? We'll get the views of Pat Spillane and, of course, Colin O'Rourke. But first, we take a commercial break.
Interesting Leinster football final.
Thank you very much, Michael. And indeed, interestingly, we noticed that Dublin are maintaining the formation defensively. That is with Johnny McGee wing-back, Peadar Andrews centre-back, Paul Kern on the other wing. And Colin Moran is starting at left half forward, but whether or not he'll adopt the same strategy for the next 35 minutes or so, we'll just have to watch and wait. Darren Holman knocks it down for Kieran Whelan. They need him to initiate more attacks and start these penetrating runs. And what a start to the second half. He's made 3 dashing runs through the centre of the Meath defence. He's created 2 scores, and now he's got 1, and they're about the only 3 touches he's had in this Leinster football final. Great run by Kieran Whelan. Scored 5 points against Longford. This is his first against Meath. Well caught by Nigel Crawford. Needs the support of Richie Keeley. Aiming at Graham Geraghty. Now, who got the touch? The linesman from Cork at the far side, John Geaney, maintains that it is a Dublin ball.
Yes, and looking at the Dublin attack at the moment, Gio has got in full forward, and Ian Robertson has gone out to centre half forward with Desi Farrell playing in the right corner, being marked by Cormac Murphy.
Sideline kick taken by Johnny McGee. Up towards Ian Robertson. Wins it against Hank Traynor. Lays it off quickly. Jason Sherlock flicking it forward. The referee says play on. This is Darren Holman getting inside John McDermott. Holman still has possession. Feeds it back outside. Wayne McCarthy tending to cross it. And there's Evan Kelly. Robbed by Wayne McCarthy through persistent pressure and hard work, and it's Kelly again. The exchanges are tough and fair, and championship all the way.
Very much so. It'll be interesting to see whether both teams can sustain the effort and the pace that they've started off the second half with. But there's great urgency from both sets of players, and it's a great credit to both of them.
Nicely flicked on by Graham Geraghty, but the plan didn't quite work. Paddy Christie has it. Desi Farrell with Cormac Murphy. On his shoulder from Farrell, showing his vast experience. Trying to jink inside him, not easy. There's nobody in around the house except Jason Sherlock. And the referee has given the free to Dublin, despite the furious protestations from Meath.
Mind you, I thought Meath defended that situation very well, and Desi was somewhat lucky to get the free, and I thought it may have been a free out for over-carrying, but fair play to him. If he got it, he certainly earned it.
So far, Colin Moran has had 2 attempts, 1 successful. This is his 3rd, and this is over the bar. Second point of the game for the Ballyboden St. Enda's 21-year-old. Two points between the sides. A huge battle ahead in this second half of this Leinster Championship final. Fabulous catch by McDermott. Ian Robertson came in off the ball, by the way. McDermott spoke, or at least signaled to the referee, did he see that? It is, however, a free to Meath, far side. Trevor Giles. Very much the Mr. Consistent, as Sean Boylan, who of course is in his 19th championship season with Meath. A remarkable achievement. This is Trevor Giles' first free. And it's certainly not nice to hear all this booing and whistling for what is a fabulous footballer. Giles, not really put off by the taunts. Here's Ollie Murphy, who grabs the ball and sends it over the bar. That's his first point from 4 attempts. He registered 3 wides in the first half. But Ollie Murphy is always so dangerous.
Yes, and you must credit Coleman Goggins the way he's having a very good game, a very good marking job on Ollie Murphy. But that time, Murphy's change of feet and the way he was able to swivel and put that over the bar was a delight to look at.
Davy Byrne sends it down the middle. Colin Moore releases Kieran Whelan in another one of these penetrating runs. Nigel Crawford chasing after him. Great run by Whelan! Great score! He seemed to be asleep for most of the first half. He certainly has woken up, because Kieran Whelan is undoubtedly in the centre of Croke Park.
Oh, very much. He's making up for lost time in the first half, and that was a lovely little ball flicked on by Colin Moore to him, but he has great pace. Nigel Lester was simply unable to keep with him that time as he went through.
And remember, 2 years ago, Kieran Whelan had a great game against Meath. He usually relishes the challenge. Darren Homan. Dublin surging forward now. Father Andrews thought about taking it quickly. Gives it to Holman, who has certainly taken the responsibility. That's a good ball down to his car. Needs the support outside, nobody there. Needs it over in the left wing, nobody there. Has to turn, and that is over the bar. Dessie Farrell scored 2 points against Offaly in the semi-final. He scored 3. And there's still plenty of time in Croke Park. He looked around, a player of wonderful experience at this stage, and his experience was vital because there was nobody readily available.
And by God, are the Hill responding at the moment. I haven't seen like this in years.
The kick forward goes over the sideline. That's going to be a line ball for Meath. Paul Shanky from Kilmainham Wood, club that produced Brian Stafford. Paddy Christie gets a touch, and it's a line ball for Meath. Trevor Ops for John McDermott. Ball carried just a little bit too much pace. Donald Curtis, left foot, solid, and over the crossbar. A brilliant point by Curtis. Made a reputation for himself in North Meath with Rathkenny as a halfback, then showed his flexibility by turning into a forward, and that's his second point in this Leinster final. McDermott seemed to give away a shoulder charge, but it looked possibly a frontal rather than a fair shoulder on Colin Moore.
Well, certainly Colin Moore felt that, but I think he ran straight into McDermott that time. Actually, he teed himself up for it. But I must say the second half is so fluent, so free-flowing by comparison with what we had in the first half. And some of the scores we're getting at the moment are of the highest standard.
Darren Homan, who has worked so hard at his game. Jason Sherlock is fouled. They feel in the Dublin inner circle that Jael, since he's concentrated on Gaelic football, has improved by almost 50%, and his scoring rate is phenomenal. Particularly has worked at training at scoring points, and sometimes attends training at 5:30 and 6 o'clock when training might only be at 7:30, just to shoot scores.
Yes, he's very busy out there. He's doing great work off the ball that maybe isn't seen on camera. Doing very well.
That's a bad miss by Wayne McCarthy. Still only managing 1 score out of 3 attempts. Cormac O'Sullivan comes from the same area of County Meath as former Meath goalkeeper Mickey McQuillan from Stamullen. Dessie Farrell orchestrating things now from centre half forward, looking for a loose player. A little touch from Darren Fay, put the ball astray, and it's Evan Kelly. man of the match for Meath in the first half. That's a good ball to Graham Geraghty. Ollie Murphy has got inside. Coleman Goggins chasing him. Still Geraghty. Great defending by Paddy Christie. Can he get a touch? Davy Byrne is loose. The ball is loose. Davy Byrne comes out. It's Geraghty once more. And a wonderful defending by Shane Ryan. That's great defending by Dublin.
Fantastic defending both by Paddy Christie and Shane Ryan that time, and the way they got in front of Geraghty. Geraghty took them on from about 60 metres out, ran at them. What a wonderful piece of combined defence by all of the Dublin defenders, including their goalkeeper.
The first 45 of the match going to be taken by Trevor Giles. He made his debut in 1994 against Laois, and on his debut won the Man of the Match award. This is floating in. Well caught by Darren Holman. It's the same story of the first half in some ways. Kelly doing it for Meath, Holman doing it for Dublin. Nigel Nestor. Trevor Giles. Put it into the space, but there's nobody there. Paul Kern is anxious not to see it go over the sideline. Here's the Shane Ryan. Under pressure from Donald Curtis. Sneaks it out first, Johnny McGee. Heather Andrews. Dublin looking a little bit more impressive now as Coleman Goggins goes away. Great running by the cornerback. In Dublin football circles, they maintain Goggins will eventually be the centre-half back for Dublin in time. At the moment, he's cornerback, initiating a move that now involves Wayne McCarthy. Mark O'Reilly staying with him. McCarthy gives it back out to Peter Andrews, who made a good run. Hits it. And that is just gone to the right and wide. But very enterprising play by Dublin. Vinnie Murphy, will he be called into the side? Well, certainly his contribution in this championship has been immense. Is he now required? Richie Keeling. Referee won't allow that quickly taken free, as Richie had stepped forward 10-15 metres or so. That could well turn out to be a throw ball. Nigel Crawford and Kieran Whelan. Goes back to Richie Keeling. Good switch of play. Goggins gets a touch to it, but he touched the ball along the ground. And his anxiety to win possession forced the ball along the ground, and that's going to be a free for me.
Yes, he's having a great tussle with Ollie Murphy at the moment. He's trying to get out in front of him. He won that ball, a little bit unlucky perhaps to have been called for the free.
Trevor Giles dropping this in over the crossbar. Great score. Wonderful kick by Trevor Giles.
Yes, what you have to admire about Trevor Giles, he mightn't be in the game that much today. The game is very frantic around him, but he's very, very calm and composed whenever the ball is given to him for a free kick situation like that. And even when he gets the ball in general play, very, very great presence of mind.
With the change in personnel in the Dublin camp, Enda Sheehy is coming on, and the player that's going off is full forward Ian Robertson, who started the second half at centre forward. Wonderful to see. John McDermott is back for Meath. And all of Croke Park seem to respond to that great catch, and he too is boosted by that old style of catching the ball. Ball is loose and cut out by Shane Ryan. Paul Curran uses Ryan on the overlap. McDermott claims that he just stood his ground, but the referee says no, and McDermott continues to protest. The free is taken by Enda Sheehy. Referee again spotted a foul by the Meath defender, and that's going to be a free for Dublin.
Yes, I think in that situation, Cormac Murphy probably had his arms around the Dublin player who got the ball, and Michael Curley, I think, was correct in calling it.
It may have been just a tactical switch to take off Ian Robertson and bring in Enda Sheehy. But what was being kept quiet was the fact that Ian Robertson fell on his knee just recently and seemed to be causing problems for him. Wayne McCarthy scored 4 points against Offaly, 3 of them for frees in the semi-final. Hits this straight over Cormac O'Sullivan's crossbar for his second point. Between the sides. The response from Hill 16 seems to be that Vinnie Murphy is lining up or warming up at the far side, and of course Vinnie has been introduced in the game so far. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he arrives here on the pitch. That ball pumped in. Cormac Sullivan calls for it, steps aside the challenge, and then gives it long down towards John McDermott. There are 3 Dublin players. Enda Sheehy is the 4th. Flicks it out towards Paul Curry. Drops this one well wide, and Paul will be disgusted with himself because there were several options available to him.
Yes, I think Wayne McCarthy was a little bit disappointed that the ball wasn't let off to him there. He was in good space, and Paul maybe was caught between 2 minds, but certainly there was a chance to narrow the gap.
John Costello, the Dublin County Secretary, is giving a slip of paper to Vinnie Murphy. This is Dublin's 3rd substitute, and Hill 16 gave the clubman from Trinity Gales a warm reception as Senan Connell makes way for him. Vinnie, the hero in the semi-final, scoring 2 points, one of them from a free, and of course he also came on against Longford and scored a great point. So Vinnie takes up residency at full forward, going to be marked by Darren Fay. And it's Dublin once more. Johnny McGee sending it in towards guess who? Vinnie Murphy floating this in, and Cormac O'Sullivan has the situation under control. Paul Curran gets a touch to it, and that, I think, is the wrong decision. It was a clear effort to punch the ball away. He did so, as I saw it anyway, fairly. What do you think?
Yes, I thought he played the ball that time. Certainly made contact with the back of Evan Kelly, but I thought, to be fair, he attacked the ball, and they free a little bit unlucky against Dublin.
The free comes to John McDermott. Good defending by Paddy Christie. Shane Ryan immediately running off the ball for him. Employs Padder Andrews. And Vinnie is ahead of Darren Fay, but he doesn't control the ball. And it's an easy catch for the fullback from Trim. John McDermott. Great block down by Wayne McCarthy. And he's happy to boot it anywhere. Mark O'Reilly has to go back to collect. Cormac Murphy. Sending it long towards Graham Geraghty. Paddy Christie was pulling the jersey. Graham Geraghty is explaining to the referee that's the 3rd or 4th time this has happened. And the referee has, in fact, noted Paddy Christie's name. The free quickly taken down towards Ollie Murphy. Knocked back to Richie Keeley. Keeley, given a little bit of space, sends it to the left and wide. That's Meath's 5th wide of the game. This is fabulous football. Look at this by Wayne McCarthy, blocking down John McDermott's kick.
It must be noted, actually, that the Dublin defence in general is coping very well with the Meath attack and making it very difficult for them making any inroads at scoring.
It's John McDermott. Kieran Whelan and Darren Homan protest. But once the player in possession wins that ball so spectacularly, well, I think most referees give the free to that sort of skill. Richie Keeley in towards Nigel Nestor. The overlap provided by Keeley. He faces Byrne. Dunshaughlin and Meath rejoice. Richie Keeley, Meath Footballer of the Year 2000, lashes onto a ball and gives Davy Byrne no chance. And for the second time this afternoon, the Dublin keeper has to take the ball out of the net. This time, no fault on Byrne. Great finish by Richie Keeley.
That's a superb goal from a player who's played a lot of his football in the back line this year, and the assist there from Nestor that time would show great vision.
Dublin haven't scored, by the way, in the last 15 minutes. Here there's an opportunity for a foul on Desi Farrell. Wayne McCarthy again to take the free. Mark O'Reilly informing him of where the free should be taken. And the referee is now going across to the linesman at the far side. And John Geaney from Cork will tell him, I'm sure, exactly what happened and what Mark O'Reilly did. And he's brought the ball forward an extra 10 metres. A much more scoreable opportunity now for Wayne McCarthy. Five points between the sides. This should be a simple tap over for Wayne McCarthy. Third point for the corner forward. 4 points between the sides. This was some goal, and the finish by Keeley was superb. Darren Homan knocks it away from John McDermott, picked up by Colin Moore. The ball released quickly to Kieran Whelan. There's plenty of grass in front of him. Wayne McCarthy's to his left, and Whelan blasts it over the bar for his third point. And more entanglements and more off the ball stuff. This time Vinnie Murphy is involved with Darren Fay and Mark O'Reilly, and all unnecessary. The referee just checking, and the umpires are taking to. Yes, the umpires are just waving to him and saying, referee Michael Curley, you've just done what is required, just to assert his authority. Nothing major. The kick out by Cormac O'Sullivan. And it's an easy sideline ball for Dublin. Enda Sheehy. Pumping it in long towards Vinnie Murphy. Mark O'Reilly judged it perfectly. McDermott gives it long. Hank Traynor under a little bit of pressure from Darren Homan. Paul Curran dispossesses Nigel Crawford. Enda Sheehy uses Darren Homan and Shane Ryan. He surges forward at every opportunity. Heather Andrews. Good play by Hank Traynor. Dublin playing it a little bit too tight. There's no green and gold jersey over that side. except Paddy Christie. Darren Holman again. Wayne McCarthy. Desi Farrell. Dublin have support. Desi goes it solo this time, and for once in this match, Farrell took the wrong option.
Surprising the attack that preceded that Dublin one, that the Dublin team went so short. They have a very good target man in there at the moment in Vinnie Murphy. Possibly should be letting the ball in along to him and let him contest the thing with Darren Fay.
Evan Kelly picks up the loose ball. Graham Garrity for once gets away from Paddy Christie. And the referee has given the free. And Graham Garrity is furious over the decision. Or seems to be. And referee Michael Curley is going to have a word with Paddy Christie.
What I think he's doing actually is voicing his frustration and making the point that Christie is fouling him repeatedly. Now, we can't see it possibly from here, but he feels that he's been held every time he goes for the ball, and maybe that's the cause of his complaint.
A yellow card for Paddy Christie. It's 2 yellow cards now for Dublin, 1 for Meath. Going for his 3rd point, Trevor Giles. Floats it over nicely. And Meath re-establish their 4-point advantage. Meath are going to make a change. Ray McGee, who normally plays at corner forward, and Donald Curtis, who's contributed 2 points, is the player that's going to make way. Obviously, Sean Boylan is adopting a strategy whereby there's a little bit more pace now as players tire here in Croke Park. Darren Holman. Great catch by Desi Farrell. And he loses possession, picked up by Darren Fay. Cormac Murphy. This is Kieran Whelan. Needs the support outside him. It's there. Johnny McGee. Flicking it over towards Colin Moore. Giving a little bit of time. And space. And he sends it over the bar. That's his first from play. And 3rd in total. And he really should be pumped forward into a more attacking role, because he is a player in this Dublin attack that can actually score, and more importantly, score goals.
Yes, he's worked very hard throughout the game, but possibly a lot of his work has been done on the wrong half of the field.
Meath lead by 3 points. And Dublin go forward again. This is a great run. Johnny McGee pumping it across, and Cormac O'Sullivan comes out and gives it plenty of air. So much so that he found touch in front of the Meath dugout at the far side.
Yes, and on the pitch at the moment, Ollie Murphy and Coleman Goggins are the only 2 players in the Dublin Dublin half of the field.
Darren Holman tries to set up chasing Sherlock. The support plays from Paul Curran. Tries for his 2nd time at a point, and again it's well wide.
It must be said, Marty, that Dublin have had great opportunities in the last 10 minutes to actually be level with Meath. That wide there from Paul Curran is the 2nd one, but certainly in terms of endeavour, they're giving as good as they get.
It's Dublin's 9th wide, but Paul Curran will certainly regret having that 2nd attempt, because his shooting boots are obviously not on. Great catch by Peter Andrews. And it's Dublin again. the ball given away. Cormac Murphy intercepts. Mark O'Reilly feeds Evan Kelly. Paul Shanky. And Shane Ryan for Dublin. Uses Johnny McGee. It's called by Ray McGee. It's the Dublin McGee that wins the free. And Ray McGee being spoken to, and in fact being shown a yellow card. Richie Keeling giving it back to Darren Fay. Well punched on, and it's Ollie Murphy getting inside Coleman Goggins. Good defending by Goggins. Murphy has to hold and send it. Oh, I thought it was going over the bar. It looked like it from here, and Davy Byrne watched it and feeds Johnny McGee. 3 points between the teams. Just over 3.5 minutes in actual playing time. Desi Farrell, Colin Moran in a good position. He feeds Moran, steps inside one challenge, and then drives it wide. Dublin unable to open up the Meath full back line, but they are winning possession, but they're playing it in a very tight funnel.
If they had just that little bit more composure in front of goals, just as in that case there from Coley Moran, they would be level if not ahead of Meath at this stage. They've had great opportunities in the second half to actually be ahead. Meath are living on scraps up at the far end of the field, and it has taken the 2 goals, one early in the game and one in midway through the second half, to keep them in front.
Just to confirm what you're saying, in fact, Mark and Kearney, statistically, Dublin have had 10 wides in this match, and Meath only 5. Double the amount. And in the second half, double the amount of possession, I'm sure, as well. Sean Boylan, bidding for his 51st championship success. The Hill 16 chant for their heroes, trying to inspire them now in the last 3 minutes of this Leinster football final. Two Meath players. John McDermott comes down with the ball and wins a free. Quickly taken by Trevor Giles. Paul Shanky to Ray McGee. Shane Ryan just with one hand. And the referee gives the Meath substitute the free.
And Meath will take all the time possible to execute this kick. Time is running out. Certainly this point here is vital to put 4 points between the two teams.
Referee Michael Curley has been called over to the far side, and in fact what he's doing is he's giving the information about the injury time that's going to be played to John Geaney, the linesman, so we're going to be informed exactly what's going to be there in just a moment, as the referee tells Ray McGee where the free is to be taken from. 2 minutes extra time as McGee sends it over the bar. His first point, and at the end of the day it could be extremely valuable. It stretches Meath's lead to 4 points. Statistically, Dublin have had more chances, 25 to Meath's 20. The referee very quickly in, just in case anything develops. This is going to be a throw ball. Darren Holman gives it long, very long. The goalkeeper unsure, judges it correctly, and knocks it down to Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac Murphy. Good working by Desi Farrell. Nips in and wins possession when really he shouldn't have. trying to come in from a difficult angle. Nigel Nestor is deemed to have been fouling him. So this is a free for Dublin to reduce Meath's lead to just 3 points. It's a very difficult angle for Colin Moore. It's this across the face of the goal and wide. Disappointment for Colin Moore and Dublin, but perhaps for Sean Boylan, leading Meath to another championship title. Dublin fans bewildered and worried. Having dominated so much of this second half, is it enough to at least gain parity? The ball is touched along the ground, and that's going to be a free for Dublin. Who's going to go into the draw tonight on the Sunday game? The long ball is into no man's land from a Meath perspective. Paddy Christie gets it down past Kieran Whelan. Those great runs of his will be very much in everybody's minds, win or lose. Wayne McCarthy brought down again, and once more it's from a very difficult angle from a Dublin viewpoint. This time the foul committed by Mark O'Reilly. And Kieran Whelan comes in as frustration increases in the Dublin camp. And referee Mick Curley has to take matters firmly by the scruff of the neck here and assert his authority and control.
Listen, that'll suit me fine. Clock is running down. Even if this goes over the bar, there's still a goal ahead.
The referee Mick Curley is calling Mark O'Reilly, I think, out to have a word, and he could become the third Meath player to be booked. The free for Colin Moore. This time, the white flag is raised, and Dublin reduce Meath's advantage. 3 points between the sides, but time running out for Dublin. Is it about to be Meath's 20th Leinster Football Championship title? Cormac O'Sullivan, Meath goalkeeper in no rush, as the fans can hardly watch, anxious to enjoy and savour a famous victory over the old enemy. Paddy Christie, fouled. Ball pumped in long. This is surely Dublin's last chance. Knocked away. Desi Farrell chases after it. They have to create a goal. It's still Desi, and it's another free from exactly the same position. But surely this time, a point is insufficient. They have to try and engineer a goal. Roscommon did it against Mayo. Can Dublin do it against Meath? He lobs it in high, under the crossbar. It's still there, and the referee has blown his whistle. It's Meath's Leinster Championship title. It's Dublin that go into the All-Ireland qualifying draw. We've seen it before in the championship campaign, that it's all about scoring goals sometimes. It's a cliche, but goals wins championship matches. Tyrone did it against Derry. Meath have done it against Dublin. A goal by Graham Geraghty in the first half, a second goal in the second half by Richie Keeley. A real peach of an effort ensured that Meath win their 20th title. Richie Keeley gets the plaudits from all and sundry. Nigel Nestor congratulates his county teammates. It was his goal that ensured victory here in Croke Park, and certainly Meath well worthy of their victory. But Dublin will bemoan all the possession they had and the inability to take their chances. Full-time score in Croke Park. It's a great pleasure indeed to present the RT Man of the Match for the Leinster football final to Evan Kelly.
Thank you very much, Marty.
3 points in a Leinster football final and a Leinster medal as well.
Well, the medal is all I came up for. The 3 points is a bonus, and this is obviously icing on the cake, really. It doesn't get any better than this. To beat Dublin, score 3 points, and pick up Man of the Match award. It's a great feeling.
You've been improving all through the summer.
Yeah, we struggled to get over Westmeath in the first game, but that sort of broke the ice for us, and the last day we played well against Kildare. It's very hard to say how we played today when you're involved, but I'm sure it was a tense enough game to watch on the sideline, and we're just happy to have the silverware going home.
Well, tell the other counties left in the All-Ireland series. Meath obviously are focused on this All-Ireland.
Yeah, we're as hungry as we've ever been for success. We've tasted before, and we want to taste it again. We set out at the beginning of the year to beat Westmeath in the first game and try and win back our Leinster crown. We have achieved that now, and whatever happens from now on is a massive bonus.
Okay, now see corner forward Johnny Crowley. Well, he contributed 4 points to Kerry's cause.